Good morning,
can't see ourselves.
and welcome to SJU. I believe that we are on the air right now. It's hard to tell.
We'll pretend we are.
Yeah, let's just say we are.
Let's just say we are and continue on.
Yeah.
Let's sally forth. I'm
So
Roth
glad
Cornet.
Roth did that. I would just sat there for another 10 seconds
Yeah.
awkwardly.
It's a blank screen.
What's going on? We have a great show for you today. Can you tell already? We're going to talk about Kingsman getting de-Trumped, scaring kids on movie sets, and I have a game for these gentlemen. These gentlemen are Andy Signore, Spencer Gilbert, Dan Murrell.
Hello.
I'm Roth Cornet.
It's the ScreenJunkies crew.
It's the
it's
ScreenJunkies.
all
SJC on SJU.
It's SJC. Oh,
Yeah.
the crew.
Hey, look.
It's more exciting for us than it was the viewers.
Yep.
Yeah, well, because they've been able to see us the whole time.
We have a monitor in front of us that gives us our cues. It was off.
Are you guys enjoying the journey of our daily tech evolvement?
It's part of the show. It's
Is
like
it part of the show?
the fifth screen junkie is constant technical difficulties.
It's true.
Let's talk about Kingsman. We all saw Kingsman.
I didn't see
Spencer
it.
might not have
No.
seen it. Oh, okay.
Or Andy.
We
Roth
all
and I
saw
saw
Kingsman.
Congratulations.
I saw Blade Runner. We're allowed to say that now.
We are allowed to say literally only that we saw it. Andy and I saw Blade Runner, and we had to sign these intense NDAs, and there were a lot of
People have said more than that they saw it.
I know, which is kind of, I saw that.
Yeah.
All right,
Including me.
here's a little peek behind the curtain before we get into our
Because Blade Runner is apparently more interesting.
No, it's interesting
is to me.
because a lot of times studios will give restrictions on what you can and cannot say and when you can say it. When people break those restrictions, they're breaking embargo. And
JTE.
it can become, and it can become kind of a big deal, not only for the studio, but also among reporters. They'll snipe amongst each other. And so what they basically told us about Blade Runner is literally, you can only say that you saw it. And there's a reason for that, because there are a lot of spoilers. You could easily spoil this film, and we don't want to do that.
There's robots in it.
They're not robots.
Whatever.
They're replicants.
I'm reading that embargo again. Like you're talking. I think it was a
Come
little bit.
on. Like, what do they think? You're children? I mean, it's stupid.
Well, but then people are going beyond. Like, literally, I just was like,
Don't
I
tell us
saw
about the
it.
people who are going beyond, because I don't want to
Tell-
know a lot about it.
I don't
going in.
either. So what
let's
do you want
just-
to hear? You want to
Nothing.
hear about Kingsman?
Yeah, let's
hear about Kingsman. All right, Spencer's called it for the day.
I'm sorry,
So-
JTE. I didn't mean to insult you.
We love you, JT.
You control what it says underneath my face. So
That you've seen the film that can tease sentiment.
Tease sentiment.
What?
It's very vague.
Wow.
when I tease,
That's literally. Are we allowed to admit? Well, I am.
Well,
I
when
just
can you
did.
do like a full
Tease your
review?
On
sentiment.
Monday, we could have
Monday.
coverage without mention of seeing the film, and then on Tuesday we can say
Tease your sentiment,
seen
Andy.
the film.
Guh.
Tease sentiment. I teased my.
But like,
probably a little bit more than
when's
tease
the
my
next
sentiment.
embargo drop? Like, you can
Monday.
tease your sentiment now.
Next Monday.
Next
Monday
Monday,
we
you can
can
actually review the movie.
Well, I think it's weird. Like they're being very and look, I just think everyone just needs to not spoil it. I think as long as you
Right.
say things that don't
You
spoil
can't trust
it.
people to do that, though.
Well, no,
Well,
you can
that's why
trust
they're
critics.
being so. That's why they're being so cagey about
they're
it.
actually doing very few screenings for that reason. They did a couple of small.
Hey,
well, you were out of town. We tried to.
No, but it's like
Yeah.
they did one, and it's like they're gone.
Yeah, well, that's kind of the deal on this one, because we wanted Dan to go see it as well, obviously, but he was out of town. He was in Florida.
But I'm gonna tease my sentiment, Roth. I liked it a lot.
I liked it a lot. I
really
teased
good.
my sentiment with a heart and a
I've
gift.
said more.
more than a tease.
They didn't yell at me yet, so I got it
A
out there.
tease? That's not more than a tease.
I saw an hour of people just reviewing it, so I was like, oh, I
think
guess
we should
I'm
get
allowed.
off the topic because Spencer's uncomfortable, and I don't like Spencer to be uncomfortable.
I'm fine.
I like a happy Spencer.
I know you guys liked it. I'm excited.
All right.
Why? Because you don't like because we
It's
hyped
frustrating
it now?
because like I feel like the more we talk about it, the more likely you guys are to reveal more.
I'm
Oh, I
not
see what you're
saying anything.
Yeah. No, I
I'm
don't
not
wanna say
saying
anything.
anything about it. But Kingsman, speaking to Entertainment Weekly, director Matthew Vaughn revealed that 2 references to Trump in the Golden Circle
That's Matthew Vaughn.
were
I've
removed.
never seen him really.
Why is he wearing a Yankees cap? He looks like
not
a
what I
schlubby
expected.
American
All right,
guy.
everybody watching this show, I want you to give an over-under on how many minutes it's going to take me to get into the show before I actually talk about the
Sorry, I was
headline
distracted.
of the show.
Video starts now.
I think 22.
Video starts at 3:34.
All right. So he said that 2 Trump references were removed. The first one was just a line of dialogue. dialogue.
Hey, that one was on you.
100% on me. Dialogue from Julianne Moore just saying that she would be interested in hosting The Apprentice in his absence. At the time,
Hilarious.
he was very early on in his campaign, so people weren't sure if he was going to win yet. And then the second thing was
But then
actually,
the show got canceled, to be fair. Celebrity
The
Apprentice is
Apprentice.
it's sort of a old, dated reference.
Well, the second one is actually a little predictive, which was that they were going to design the White House to be sort of look like Trump Tower, the Oval Office, and be a bit ostentatious. And he and his production designer kind of had a moment about it. And he was like, I mean, what if he wins, you know? And the production designer is like, he's never gonna win. And Vaughn's like, I think he might. And so this is the quote from Matthew Vaughn about this. He said, I think America is in sort of a rough patch at the moment. It's going through a pretty interesting and rough ride at the moment, and I wanted to make this movie to be pure escapism. And that means not suddenly have half the audience going, that's not cool, that's not funny, as the other half is cheering.
Fuck you. Sorry, there's my F word for the scene.
Wow.
I'm sorry, he blew up Obama's head in Kingsman #1.
Well, I was gonna bring
Obama's
that up.
head exploded. And you're like, oh, I don't want to piss off both sides. Both sides bullshit. Go Brexit your ass back to your little island and rot. I don't know.
If he hadn't have blown up
I'm not that
Obama's
upset,
head,
but
would
the
you-
fact that he blew up Obama's
it's a
head in
little
the first one
hypocritical.
and then is like, ooh, I don't want to offend anyone. Like, come on.
But do you think that that's maybe why? Because, so here's the thing, he did get in trouble because it indicated that someone who looked like Obama's head blew up. And
Sitting
it
in
was
the White House.
Yes, no, very well. It was, and he got into a lot of trouble for it. So maybe that's why he was a
I'm
little
not upset about
Did
that.
he get in trouble for it?
Yeah, did he? I'm not upset
I
that he
don't
blew up
remember people
Obama's head.
saying
You
that
can
they were
It's kind
upset.
of part of the plot, and I don't think it was a political stance. It was more of just like that was the
that
villain's
was the
thing,
sitting president, right?
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
sitting president at the time when he did a plot. To
Can I
kill
just say
everybody.
I'm glad?
Okay.
Because I get the graphic ready. I just and I'm not even. This isn't even about political ideology because I have my own beliefs and my own thoughts. And if you probably heard me say them, it's not even about ideology. It's just like you can't. I can't do anything anymore without having to hear about Trump. Like football was the last one. Football was the last thing. It's like every headline, every magazine, every news story, every single TV show, every Law and Order, every show has a veiled Trump. Every award show, can't watch the Emmys, can't watch the Oscars. It's Trump, it's Trump, it's Trump. I don't care what they're saying about Trump. It's just all
right now in
Trump.
SJU, it's Trump.
It's Trump right now. I go on clickbait. It's Trump. It's Trump everywhere.
I'm with you, man.
Joe with the Trump. Everybody with the Trump. And like football was the last thing, and now that's Trump too. And it's like I want to go somewhere. And I was watching Kingsman 2, and I was like, oh my God, here comes the Trump. I was waiting for him to drop the Trump, and they didn't. And I'm glad, because I got to go 2 hours without hearing about Trump.
Slow the rant down. I'm sorry, it's the ultimate first world problem. You have to hear about politics in your sports.
No, the ultimate first world problem is the problem that the first world is in right now, Spencer. And you can't go 2 hours without hearing it anywhere.
Look, none of us are affected by what's happening. We're all
That's
rich.
not
white people.
true.
I'm not rich. What are you getting paid?
And I'm not rich, my friend. Are they paying you more than they're paying me?
None of
think
us.
you're
That's what you two
reveal
so we're
that.
not all rich.
None of us are going to be deported. None of us are going to be sent to the work camps. None of us are facing like rolling back campus rape problems and stuff like that. We have the luxury of being like, oh, I'm so sick of hearing about this. I want to move on with my normal life. Whereas everybody who's actually affected by this doesn't have that
So
luxury
you're
of
saying
just
that
being
if a
like,
problem doesn't affect you personally, it's not a problem? See, this is what happens,
Wait,
Spencer.
no. He's saying literally the opposite.
Yeah,
of that.
he's saying the opposite.
He's saying literally that we ought to be. We are in a moment where we should not be isolated and insulated from problems that are affecting other people in
That
a
I
real way.
understand.
I have the luxury of being like, la, 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 and my life is not going
Yeah,
to
we also live in Los Angeles. It's a completely different
We should engage. Like
atmosphere.
we should be forced to think about the world and how others.
I
are.
agree.
I think that's
We
what you're
should be.
saying.
But my problem is that we are being engaged on that front literally everywhere. And I'm
Right,
sorry,
but
people say like,
it's-
oh, you can't just stick your head in the sand. I'm not. There is such a thing as escapism. And so I'm glad that there was one thing that they said we're not going to put this in there.
I do to chime in. Like I agree with both of you in a way, but it's like I do think it is someone's fault. It's the person's fault who constantly is tweeting every little thing, and that's like there were natural disasters. There's all these important things that are happening, and he spent 20 tweets. Like they've done the math on this football thing, and it's like that to me is where it's like all distraction. But I think by getting involved in it, we're almost embracing the distractions, and it's becoming a more complicated issue of like not being able to focus on the real issues of like and then blaming NFL, which it wasn't. He doesn't even understand what it's about. My point is, it's the whole world is turning into this like what's real, what's not real type of atmosphere that's very terrifying. So I think Spencer's right in that you have to still address it. You can't not address the facts and do it. But I also agree with you. Like we all take it in our own ways and our own outlets. And there's a certain time you just want to go to a movie and check off for 2 hours to enjoy it. And it's nice to sometimes have that opportunity.
We can't just pretend that everything's normal when we have mashed potato brain president just tweeting angrily at his TV.
Who's
20
about
seconds.
to
He's about to start a nuclear war from his fucking toilet.
I'm not saying.
Let's go see the Kingsman.
No, I'm not saying that everything. I'm not saying you should ignore everything. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that and then everything is all Trump. Everything is Trump. ESPN is running Trump. You go to ESPN and get headlines about Trump. Everything is Trump. The entertainment sites are running stories about Trump. Like, you literally cannot go anywhere to hear about Trump. It's like, yes, I know things are shitty right now. I don't need to now go to a movie and hear Trump. It's like escapism is a thing.
I can't even watch Home Alone 2 anymore.
You can't watch Home Alone 2. You can't watch Little Rascals from the 90s. Like, it's literally everywhere. And it's like, I'm glad there was one place where it's like, there's no Trump, because there has to be. You're going to go crazy.
Well, I'm glad that I take the opposite perspective, because it's like, I'm glad that I don't feel crazy, that people are like, wait a second, this is crazy. And seeing that, I'm reassured by it.
But I think to try and wrap it up, but it's like, I think you're making a good point, because you're educated on it all. And I think for a lot of people, they're speaking into the void or trying to scream into the void through social media, et cetera, because they're worried people aren't educated on the matter. So I think that's where I think there's probably a disconnect of like, people want to say these things and point it out to make sure people are being heard and it's being talked about, because he's not talking about any of it. So I think there is I get where you're coming from, because I know you actually believe in all the things and you're very educated in all the topics, but I think we are also in a bubble in a way of like in other states and other places, they don't get to interact with as many people in different stories, different sides. So that's why people feel the need to talk about it and bring it up and put it into everything and talk about it here.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about it here. So, you know, I agree with you in terms of a lot of the entertainment. And this is a totally different topic that we, in fact, may do right here on SJ News, about actually writing stories about the politics of it in terms of who is or is out of the White House and things like that, and actual political commentary. That feels a little weird to me, because that's not your specialty. That's sort of not what you do. This is 100% an entertainment-related topic. And what I think is weird is to ignore the world, ignore the biggest topics in the world that are related to entertainment, that are related to what we do, because everything is sort of interconnected. Yep. But without enforcing a point of view on it. Do you know what I mean? Leaving it open to the conversation. The conversation here is, why should he have Obama in a movie and not Trump? Or is he absolutely right? We need a break. We need 2 hours of entertainment. What's happening in the NFL, I think, is a different thing, but that's also a different topic.
Well, to echo what Dan's saying, to me, it's like there's another instance when I agree with you. Of like, I love John Oliver. Like, puts on an amazing show. And pre-Trump, you'd get these stories that you really knew nothing about, or you wouldn't be educated about, and you learn about.
I never knew
really amazing things about the world and learning about. And then he would do one Trump once in a while. Now it's like every outlet, you turn on any, that's all they talk 24/7. And look, there are outlets for those to go get it. Everyone knows where they are, where you can get it. And I can see a little bit of a point of like, sometimes you just want to
look, and this
movies.
is by design, because President Grandpa Mashed Potato Brains, he speaks in news sound bites. The way he's provoking the media and
they all report on it.
He speaks in headlines like
it's
NFL is racist. He's made of cable news. So it's not surprising that this is why we have him and why he's continued to be in the conversation, because that's all he knows.
But all this is every outlet embracing and talking about 24/7 is only fueling.
For me, it's like, I log on the internet, any website I go is all Trump. I go on Twitter, everything on my timeline is all Trump. I go on Facebook, everything on Facebook is all Trump. So I'm glad that this was, for me, I could go into Kingsman, and I had 2 hours. I just didn't have to think about it. That's what escapism is. It's not ignoring the world's problems. It's saying, good God Almighty, can I just think about something else for 2 hours? And then I'll go back to
the real world,
tweeting links and talking about stuff and debating and going fucking crazy. That's mine. Because the world is a daily funhouse, madhouse mirror that I don't think there's ever going to be any escape from for any of us. So thank God 2 hours I got to see Taron Egerton shoot someone in the face and I didn't have to think about Trump. And
I don't think he shot anyone in the face directly.
I'm afraid of the world that exists when we stop talking about it. And when we're like, well, this is just life now.
Come on, Spencer. We are not stop talking.
I know, but I'm saying, like, if the Dans of the world are like, let's just all ignore it.
I think you're unfair.
You're doing your Spencer thing
don't
here.
do movie
I
fight
don't
here.
think my 2
That's
hours
not what
watching
he
Kingsman
said.
contributed to the downfall of American society.
That's
Tell me
not
talking
what
about,
he
I go
said.
and I look in sports and there's Trump. And there, he's inserting himself into our minds.
Exactly.
With his tiny little...
Right, but
Excuse me.
Wow.
I didn't mean to
down.
hop the desk. But I'm saying he's... anyways, we can continue this discussion later.
No. This is an important discussion to have, frankly, because it's about entertainment and what it means and what movies and entertainment are supposed to do and how they are not supposed to challenge us. And I think there's room for everything. I do agree with you, Dan. There is room for escapism and we are inundated, but at the same time, we cannot pretend that this isn't the biggest thing. Hang on, let me goddamn talk. That's mine. How many fucks do we get? Do we get two each?
you said two. You used a whole season's
just
worth in this
said
episode.
I want to talk about how our chat is chiming in. Curtis, escapism is a thing I agree with Dan's sentiment about in entertainment, but Spencer is wrong. He's just arguing a different point. Tara says, however, when was American entertainment not affected by the politics of the time? And that is also true. I feel like it's an interesting space that we're in right now where we are at once inundated with one particular topic because it is such an unusual time that we find ourselves in, and yet we are resistant to this topic. How can it not come up? It just is going to come up, but we need some respite because we're also in a time of social media.
Yeah, people are like, get my politics out of Captain America Civil War. It's like, what do you think is happening on screen? It's a particular point of view.
Yeah.
It might not be presenting both sides and be a debate, but it's like, our Treasury Secretary produced Wonder Woman. Steve Mnuchin is going to be sitting at the Oscar Awards table with Patty Jenkins awkwardly being thanked for making Wonder Woman, this like feminist movie, and he's our asshole private jet riding Treasury Secretary.
Yeah,
like, politics and movies, they exist whether you want to admit them or not.
Politics and
There's
movies.
also a lot of
They
good
do,
political
and-
movies.
Yes.
Like I rewatched All the President's Men recently. It's like, and there will be so many more made out of all of what we're going through now that I cannot wait to watch. But yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's like, and I'm not drawing a direct comparison. Do not internet me here. This is only
Careful, they still will.
An
Oh, they're gonna
historical
internet us
era
no matter
comparison. But
what
I'm
we
just
do.
saying that there were a lot of movies made during World War II, and they didn't all mention Germany and
But
Hitler.
a lot of them did.
But a lot of them didn't. And I'm saying there's nothing wrong with a movie that says I'm going to sit this one out. This is a movie about a spy who goes into a tailor shop and goes into an underground tunnel. Maybe I don't need to inject the politics of the day into this movie. I'm perfectly
How could
fine
you
with
not
that.
into that movie, though? I mean, I don't know. During World War II, that's a whole different topic because the United States government itself was commissioning movies at that time. They were very involved in how films were made. They were very involved in how films were made in the 50s because they were trying to curtail how films were made and what the messages were.
But there were also perfectly delightful, wonderful movies made during World War II that didn't have to sit there and make acknowledgments to what was happening in the world, even though it was terrible and awful. It's like there's room for both.
But Dan, the commenters raised, we are arguing a different point because I was responding. What set me off was Matthew Vaughn being like, I don't want to put politics in this movie when he blew up Obama's head in the first one. That's what I was like.
That's a very fair, hypocritical.
You have to keep that in.
Yeah,
or don't like even make it a story.
But that wasn't a political statement. It's just that the people who liked Obama wouldn't scream bloody murder when they blew his head off. That's a whole
Nobody
other
did
argument.
scream bloody murder. It was like, I wasn't upset until I saw this, where it's like, oh, I was fine blowing up Obama's head, but I don't want to get political and blow up Trump's head.
I think that you're right. These are two different talks because it's
mentioning
like
Trump is going political is the other thing that's kind of the trouble with the society.
Literally, I said in a video a few months ago, I said the word Trump. I said that this person had trumped another person using the actual meaning of that word.
That word existed before
It
him.
existed. And so this person angrily tweeted at me, keep politics out of... I was like, what are you doing? I said the person trumped the other person. I was not referring to President Trump even remotely. So it is a trigger warning word
Obviously.
at this point. Even if you're literally not talking about the person, you are correct in saying that it's odd to say I will get political or make direct political references in this instance, but not this one, which I think is very revealing about how different those situations are, that could still be escapism.
Because his supporters are snowflakes.
Okay. And to your point, there is time for all of it. There's time to go into a movie and not have it be about the current politics. But certainly, if we look at the biggest movies that we're talking about right now, Mother,
You go to
Blade
Ninjago,
Runner.
Dan. I'm sure they're not going to mention it there.
It's
Right.
big. There's a whole riff on
See the cat?
on Trump,
yeah, on Syria. It's weird.
what movies are and what they're meant to be and how they're meant to impact it is my favorite thing about talking about how they're meant to impact the world or not. There's a million different ways a movie can affect your life, a million different things that it can do. It can help you escape. It can reveal something about the world. It can get you into a deeper conversation with yourself. And you know what else it can do? It can scare children.
Oh,
Segway.
Oh, you guys are upset now.
Segue.
I'm loving that conversation.
Yeah, right.
Billy's breaking
was
up. we saw he accidentally teased the graphic we hadn't
Have I
seen
been
yet.
fired? What's going on? What's the breaking news? Did I go
Random
too far?
segue graphics. This is a good conversation. I hope you guys are enjoying it as well because it's a large discussion to have, and we can get it, disagree, and still get along. Let's do a hug.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do a hug.
No, we'll hug.
Let's do a hug.
I don't
Group
know.
hug.
I don't
Get
want
in here.
to
Get in here.
Andy's not doing it. It's really weird.
We're all friends.
And yes, I am pro escapism. I just didn't like this Matthew Vaughn thing he did.
I think you both had.
I think you're both right.
Well, good things said on both sides, guys.
Both sides are always equally right.
Yes.
I think if we learned one
No
thing.
difference between two sides of arguments. They're both equally valid.
Oh God! All right. So wait, I heard the director traumatized kids during the movie. What?
So
Now this I'm in favor of.
this one, I'm in favor of torturing
It's like
children.
Angelina Jolie when she tortured all the kids auditioning the
Well,
poor kids
this
with
actually
money.
this isn't that bad. So basically, it too is getting an official release date. It's September 6, 2019, and we want to talk about if we think it's the smart move for them to keep that in September,
Absolutely.
And sort of own that month from now on. But
No competition.
while shooting, It director Andy Muschietti said that basically they kept Pennywise away from the kids in order to keep up the mystery and keep them scared. However, I did hear this one story with Eddie, who's Wyatt Olaf, who played Eddie. He was shooting a scene with Bill Skarsgård very early on in the production and was just, crying and upset and just beside himself, the little kid's beside himself. And Bill Skarsgård's like, oh man. I'm like traumatizing this kid. Am I taking it too far? What's going on? And then they call cut, and the kid's like, I love what you're doing. I love these choices.
Takes a drag of a cigarette.
This is the only thing that I'd mention when we go again. And he was like,
He reversed it.
they were like, totally fine.
Pretty good.
Have you guys heard any famous, you've heard some famous traumatizing kids on set or audition stories?
Well, no, I just remember reading about the Angelina Jolie traumatizing these kids who are auditioning for her movie. These poor kids in India or somewhere.
They're orphans. They put food in front of them,
and they dangle money, and they would be like, "What would you do if you had this money?" And they would tearfully I'd save my family, and then they'd be like, take it away. She denies this now, of course, but it was in the Vanity Fair article she did a while back. You were the one who brought this up.
it was presented as it was weird because it was trying to be sympathetic and showing her dedication to realism, but she was her casting director was literally dangling money in front of orphans to get a reaction out of them for a camera test. That sounds pretty traumatizing.
That's pretty horrible.
Yeah.
I know about the for adults at least the alien chestburster scene.
Yeah.
Ridley didn't tell them about exactly what was going to
that's
happen.
funny.
Yeah, which was but you can see some genuine terror on their face that I love.
How do you fake that though? That's so weird.
Fake what?
Yeah, I guess you built the contraption on the tape. That's one of those things. I don't know if I believe that one because it feels so complicated.
I think they knew something was going to happen.
That's like a whole magic trick
Something's
he's
going to
gotta
happen. We
set.
just don't know what.
Yeah.
Because the girl, the woman that got the blood sprayed on her face, for example, they said that she didn't know that was going to happen. It just happened. So, yeah.
That's a genuine reaction. I had heard one, and I wish I could remember what this movie. Two, actually. I wish I could remember what this movie was for, but it was somebody who was really, really, really scared of snakes, which is also my primal hindbrain
Don't admit it,
fear.
Roth.
God damn it. Oh, no. So she had to do a scene, and they were like, oh, they're all fake. It's fine. Not fake. And thrown into real snakes. I would murder someone. I would literally.
It's like in Jackass 2,
Yes.
where Bam is terrified of snakes and they lock him
Yeah,
in.
that was also really
Pour the boa
funny.
constrictor in there.
That was really funny. Also, you're in Jackass. What do you think is going to happen?
That's funny.
And go ahead.
Die Hard, Hans Gruber, when he falls, there was some director trick, right, where he didn't tell him that he was actually going to, or like he tricked him on the countdown, so it was a genuine moment of terror when he's falling off the building. I think it's different when it's kids, right?
Yeah.
Because
I mean, you have to be
going to drop me at 10. He's dropping me on 7.
I think you should be a little more careful if it's a child.
Yes.
Yeah, I think with it, but even with an adult, I mean, some of this gets really manipulative. The worst. You guys know the movie Blowout? Have you ever seen this movie?
Yeah.
So this is Brian De Palma, who I believe at the time was married to Nancy Allen, and her number one fear in life was drowning in a car. And so there's a scene where she goes off into a river in the beginning of Blowout, and she's in a car. She doesn't drown, but the car fills with water. He made her shoot the damn scene. Like, he made her do it. I'm like, that's something about your marriage. They're no longer married or together. I'm like, that's some like sick business.
I mean, was it in the script when she signed on?
I mean, that's like acting through weird injuries is a
through
big whole other thing.
trauma.
Like, I remember hearing Jamie Foxx and Howard Stern talking about how Leonardo and Django smashed the glass.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And literally is bleeding out of his hand during that scene and just kept going. And then after it was done, it was like, let's should probably look at this. But like, that kind of stuff's intense.
Or when they can't get there, because Winona Ryder, I think on Dracula, was having some trouble on the set of that film. It was not super pleasant for her. But I had heard a story where there was a close-up where she was really supposed to be emotional and pain. She just couldn't get there. And the grips, like who she was close with, they had the camera on her, were twisting her toes to try and like elicit a response.
That is weird.
Why didn't they do that with Keanu? That movie, that would have been way more useful.
Very well.
so
we're-
strange.
So we're happy it is in September still?
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, they're doing the Fast and the Furious thing, which is like, I'm just doing Vin Diesel, I guess. I'm gonna come out in a month that's not traditional for a blockbuster.
Well, they own it now. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, of course, and people are going to get stoked to see the next one. Whether it's good or not, they'll be lined up to see it that weekend. And there's no competition, so it's pretty brilliant, I think. And I think there is a Jason Blum movie. There's something else on the same weekend, as I read, that now they're debating, is it going to move? Which I'm sure it's
Blumhouse,
going to.
definitely. They need to, yeah.
But there's some other horror movie that already sort of staked that weekend. But I imagine it's going to be only time until they're like, we're going to move to this date.
Yeah. Do you think it is helping or hurting the other horror movies that are coming out right now around Halloween?
I think
not
the other
hurting.
horror movies are hurting the other horror movies. Like Friend Request and Mother was marketed as one, certainly. Wasn't one. And also it's just like, I thought it was strange for it before I saw it. You know, I thought it was trying to tap into the horror thing. Like, really? September? First weekend of September? Like, I think you want to go late September, early October. That's probably when you want to tap into the Halloween.
But then
crowd.
it proved to be genius because
No,
now
that's
they can do it, and then people will go see it again through the October month. I think they're not going to slow down anytime soon.
All right. Well, you know what else is not going to slow down? Foreign markets giving different names to movies.
Is that even graphic word
Yeah.
now? No.
All right, that's that graphic, the one where I don't get it right. So we have amassed some, you can't look, some
don't have
names of foreign films,
have it.
and you're going to tell me which actual title this is. And the first one is,
I only know Fast and the Furious is Wild Speed Sky Mission.
Wild Speed Sky
I will
Mission.
marry a prostitute to save money.
Oh,
this
that's
is in China.
That's
Pretty Woman?
Yeah.
Pretty Woman.
Woman,
Yes,
yeah.
thank you.
JTE. Very good, Pretty Woman. The next one is Captain Supermarket in Japan. Captain Supermarket.
Chef.
Sausage Party?
Captain Supermarket. I'm at a loss.
Reveal. This one's so weird.
Oh, wow, awesome. Shop smart, shop S smart.
This one's kind of messed up. I don't like this one at all. This one's mean.
I love this one.
I don't like it. It's mean because she's ugly. And this is in the Philippines.
It's called Because She's Ugly.
It's called
She's all
Because
that.
She's Ugly.
Because she's ugly?
Because she's ugly.
She's all that.
Because
Shallow Hal.
she's ugly.
Yes, right? Oh, Shallow Hal. That's a good one too.
Yeah, I don't go with Spencer.
Reveal, please.
Never been curious.
That seems more like just a commentary on Drew Barrymore. It's not the movie.
Wow, that is really mean.
Really harsh.
mean.
Wow.
I
That's
don't
the ones
like
we
that.
said were like part of the plot.
They
Yeah.
have impossible standards of beauty in the Philippines.
This one's actually my favorite. It won't be anybody else's so far. It is meetings and failures in meetings. This is out of Portugal. Meetings and failures in meetings.
Failures in like Glenn Ross.
That's what you would think,
Meetings
right?
and failures in meetings. I don't know.
I'm thinking it's a rom-com, and they just have a weird translation of like 50 First Dates.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, Wolf of Wall Street.
JTE.
Lost
Lost in translation.
So weird.
I guess that was truly lost in translation.
It's like not at all what the movie is about.
Wouldn't have
even
guessed that one in a
really.
million years.
This one is Violent Times. Violent Times.
Violent
And it just
Times.
says Latin America. I don't know where it's from in Latin America.
I mean, clearly it can be anything. I'm going to
Violent
say Congo.
Congo.
Picked a random movie in my head.
Platoon.
Jurassic Park.
Review.
Pulp
Ah,
Fiction.
that's kind of, no.
There's some
That's
violence.
I mean, Pulp Fiction's a very
violent.
specific English idiomatic thing. So what? Yeah, I don't know how you translate Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Jack's Weird World. This one I
Fight
think we
Club.
could
Fight
get.
Club.
You would think. No, but think of another Jack.
Clear and Patriot Games.
Titanic.
Jack Ryan.
Please tell me it's Titanic.
Jack's Weird World.
Okay, that one's fine.
I think
Okay.
They don't have Christmas or nightmares there.
This one. This
Jack's
one is
Nightmare
so good.
Before the Holiday.
Yeah.
This one should have been the actual name of the movie. All right, this is out of Germany. Die slowly, comma, now more than ever. Die slowly, comma.
Human Centipede.
It's very German.
Die Hard with a Vengeance.
Yes,
Oh, nice.
nailed it.
Die slowly, but now.
Now more than
More than
ever.
ever.
The Game Master.
Die slowly is the opposite. Die hard, right?
Well, I guess if you're dying hard.
Can you die hard and die
But
slowly?
more than ever.
Well, Germans see the whole Die Hard franchise from a different
will die
perspective.
Yeah.
They're on
Hans
Gruber's
was
side.
Hans was the hero of
Yeah.
that whole thing.
You'll die
What
slowly
does
more than
the
ever.
title "Die Hard" mean? Are you dying?
It's hard
with-
to.
It's
like,
hard to die.
It's hard
Or
to
are you
kill
going?
it.
If you're gonna die, you want to die hard, like in a
it's
big
both.
way. Big way.
I think it's one of those things that has dual meaning.
I think it's like also like
Yeah.
balls to the wall. Like you're a diehard smoothie enthusiast or whatever. Like he's just, I don't know why that's an example, but yeah, he's just like full blown
He's gonna die hard. If he's gonna, I just saw this like if he's gonna die, he's gonna die hard.
Yeah.
Acai smoothie. Betrayals.
Which to me doesn't mean die
Razzmatazz,
slow
no
though.
boots.
Die slow is it gives me the opposite reaction.
because he's going to die. Yeah.
Well, no, but it's like exactly. It's like a slow death. Like it's not as exciting to me.
But in
Anyway.
Germany, nothing is harder than dying slowly.
Nothing is hotter than an
It is a
orange.
hard death. You have many times to think about your past.
God, we've talked about Trump and now
Now
weird
it's Germans.
German accents and now scaring kids. It's a
Super
weird episode.
horny.
Gruber.
Super horny. Super bad.
horny.
Super
Yeah,
bad.
very Andy.
I was just say Austin
Nailed it.
Powers. It's good.
That's the German title.
Okay, this
Super
one.
horny.
It's actually a little more accurate.
Yeah.
This is my new favorite. This is my new favorite. This is out of Italy. If you leave me, comma, I delete you. If you leave
Oh,
me,
the social
The
network.
Social network.
I
Yeah.
You've got
delete
mail.
you.
Or her.
Come on.
None
if
of
you
those?
leave me, I delete you.
These were good ideas, Roth.
Matrix?
No, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
There you go.
There you go.
Nice.
I knew you could get that one.
I mean, that's Shakespeare, though. Why do you, whatever.
This is out of Hong Kong. We have only 2 left. Don't worry. American Virgin Man.
American Pie.
Virgin.
40-year-old virgin? Oh,
American Pie.
American Pie.
Ah, you guys are getting really good at this.
40-year-old virgin could have been that too.
Yeah.
American Virgin Man. I want him to fight Supermarket Man.
Supermarket Man versus American
Captain
Virgin Man.
Supermarket.
I have confidence that you guys are going to get this one. This is out of Taiwan. Interplanetary Unusual Attacking Team. Interplanetary
Unusual
attacking team.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Galaxy.
Yes!
Oh, nice.
Well done, gentlemen.
It's too long for a poster.
X number out of other X number.
Sounds different in
I
Italian.
wasn't keeping track of how many you got. But
we all are
but
winners.
a solid
Yeah,
amount. Everybody's winners here today. Hey, thanks for sticking with us. It has been quite the roller coaster of a morning.
So it keeps
And
them coming back,
therefore,
right? You never know what's going to happen.
You never know what's going to happen
Never
here on
know.
SJU. But someone will always say super horny. is our promise to
That's
you.
the Roth promise.
Thank you for joining us today. Leave your comments below, and we will see you tomorrow.